There's a fight brewing. Dana White didn't organize this one. It's Gavin versus Rogan. Newsom talked some ish and called Rogan a chicken. Then Rogan hit back with a haymaker.
Like, I probably would have had him on.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, nah, what are you doing?
There is a fun version where you just do it and cook them, you know?
He'll cook himself.
I mean, that
He'll
seems
cook
to
himself.
be
All you
already
have to do is
happening.
just ask him questions.
Yeah.
And everybody says something bad about California.
Yeah.
He's like, #1 in Fortune 500 companies,
Yeah,
#1 in higher education, #1.
Yeah.
It was
I like
all that before you were there. It was all that forever. It's because the weather's perfect,
Yeah.
man. It has nothing
Yo,
to do with
California-
you.
That's not the only brawl. A new fighter has reemerged. She's got a new look and a new book. The Binder's back, baby. She's transitioning to independent. She's got blonde highlights now, and blondes have more fun. And you know what they say, when a woman dramatically changes her hair, she's going through something. In this case, it's true. Binder can't find a job. She's the face of the cheap fakes. She swore a DEI blood oath to Joe, kind of like Kamala. And now her best shot at a payday? Bank a book advance about the big guy, but don't say anything bad about the big guy in it, because he's the meal ticket. Problem is, nobody's going to believe the blonde Binder. All of Biden world already told Comer under oath that Grandpa's lights were out. But Binder's thirsty, and she's transitioning fast. First stop on the tour, CBS. Binder's fuming that Democrats threw Joe under Kamala's electric school bus.
What you said in this book is you're angry at the people who tried to push him out.
Yes, that's correct.
Some Americans are going to say, seriously?
But not just the party that pushed him out, the party as it's behaving today in this moment when we need a Democratic Party to be fighting, to be an opposition party.
Binder's very concerned about Biden's age. No, she wasn't. It was just a silly joke.
I was his White House press secretary, which means I had a role that saw him practically every day and traveled with him.
And you saw nothing.
For more than 95%. We've always said, we're not going to say, oh, he didn't age. He aged. And he poked fun at it. We always owned up. And with age comes what happens when you get older.
Age is what happens when you get older. It sounds like a Kamala fortune cookie. It makes sense. They're both fluent in DEI and both in on the big lie.
When we talk about the mental acuity, and again, I take this very, very seriously. I never saw anyone who wasn't there. I saw someone who was always engaged.
That wasn't all. Binder got hungry for seconds after CBS. So she ran to a liberal podcast saying Trump, not Biden, was playing Houdini with the press.
He talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less. And he wasn't out there at all. He wasn't good off the cuff. He wasn't doing press conferences. Let's just be real. Like, he didn't do night events.
But Tim, that's not true. Tim, you're conflating all of it. That's what you're doing. No, you're telling me he didn't talk well about it. Then you're telling me he didn't talk at all.
He didn't do either. He didn't talk very often. And when he did, it wasn't very good.
Yeah,
He sounded very
maybe
old.
you weren't paying attention to what we were doing at the White House.
Former House Speaker K-Mac joins me now. So what is going on with the blonde Binder?
Can you believe this? If you're the Democratic Party, you just lost more than you've ever could. President Trump is not just blowing up drug boats, he's blown up the Democratic Party. The two major books you have to sell how great your party is, this Binder book and 107 Days of Kamala. I mean, nothing could be worse for a party than this. She even left the party. And you're talking about President Otto Penn, which the only actual pardon he signed was Hunter Biden's personally. I mean, think about that. And she said, oh, I never saw any problems. Every meeting I was in with President Biden, she was never there. I never saw her because they didn't let her in. She had her binder, but you watch the press conference, she never answered one question.
No, she makes no sense without the Binder on this book tour. She probably could use it. Because this is not going well. This is the worst start to a book tour since Gutfeld's.
But what about Kamala Harris and Binder? They must have the same talking points. It's what happens when you get older.
Age is what happens when you get older.
You get older. Oh, my God. This is profound.
Deep thoughts by Binder. There was a lot of deep thinkers at No Kings.
Yes.
Every time we stuck a mic in their face, it was either I don't know why I'm there or Trump needs a bullet in the head. What did you think?
You know, it was really appalling, especially what has transpired in our nation. I mean, this is a little like the 1960s, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And for these people to say these type of things, people should disassociate. And even if you saw the flyer, they literally have the Communist Party of America on the flyer. But what I love is, while they're out doing all this, the president is out solving every problem every president before him has tried to solve. From Gaza, trying to deal with Ukraine, bringing the price of oil down. I mean, there is nothing this guy can't do every day that he wakes up. It is unbelievable, and this is the best they got. The only thing I saw was that group dancing. And it makes Binder's book looks like a better chance of winning. But it tells us something much bigger than we really should know. The Democrats are at their weakest point, and they have the weakest leaders running their party that at any given time was Schumer and Hakeem. I mean, they now have a Seinfeld shutdown. It's about nothing. I mean, we have never shut the government down over a continuing resolution. And for all your viewers, what that means is just keeping government exactly as it is right now. But they're just throwing a fit and they don't know what to do.
So now that it's open, or now that this thing is done, this march, are they going to reopen? Isn't this what they wanted? Show the base they can fight and then reopen.
Yeah, they show they can fight, but what are they saying? They want to kill the president? That's really the message they think is going to resonate across this country? I think it drove more people. Then you watch President Trump. This man is not a king, but he is a leader. That's the difference which they don't understand. Yep. And he's going to lead each and every day. And the uniqueness about President Trump, anybody could be a part of it if they want to put America first and if they want to work together. His door is always open.
All right. They also showed the base they can't dance. But who am I to make fun?
That's right.
Who am I? Just a boring old white guy.
Hey, look at the difference. We got Brett Baer's book or you got Binder's book. I think one will make the New York Times.
That's right.
The other one is going to be back on the shelf.
That's right. We're going with Brett.
Are Republican senators Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, Bernie Moreno out of Ohio. Senator Graham, I had a chat with you this weekend, and I thought you had a pretty darn good idea. And you said you were going to share it with the president. I want to know if you did. And that is this opposition leader in Venezuela that won the Nobel Prize that said it really deserved to go to Donald Trump. Sounds like a pretty good leader to me for the people of Venezuela and the end of narco-terrorism and a better relationship with the U.S. Or if they choose maybe the 51st state. I don't know.
Sounds good to me. But the opposition leader in Venezuela won the Nobel Peace Prize for standing up to Maduro. But she's telling the whole world that Donald Trump has done more to help my country than anybody. So why are we talking about this? President Trump swore to defend the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Antifa is a domestic enemy, right? Well, Venezuela is a narco-terrorism state run by Maduro, who's had associations with Iran. He steals from his own people. It is a staging area to bring drugs into this country. And when you voted for Donald Trump, here's what you voted for. Mr. President, there's a speedboat headed to America full of drugs. What should we do? Blow it up. But we're going to the next step. We're just not going to blow up the boat. We're going after the people who load the boat in the country that provides safe haven to the narco-terrorists who run the drug cartels. Bernie's going to talk to you about Colombia, but I want to let people know the Trump doctrine is pretty simple. If you're a friend, you'll have no better friend than America. If you're an enemy to America, we'll be your worst nightmare. So Donald Trump is going to take Maduro down, and everybody's talked about how bad Maduro is. He's going down. He's a narco-terrorist, drug dealer, illegitimate president, and Trump is going to set the conditions to take him down. As to a ceasefire, President Trump said in Ukraine, stop the killing at the line of contact, and we'll deal with the rest later. I think Ukraine's going to say yes. We'll see what Putin says here pretty soon. So I admire President Trump.
Yeah, go ahead.
I admire him because peace through strength means that you protect your country against the bad guys. So when there's a boatload of drugs coming to America to poison your kids, Donald Trump's going to blow them out of the water.
I think the tomahawk issue got to Vladimir because that brought him back to the table, in my view.
Yeah.
Plus, the handcuffs are off Zelensky. He's taken out Russian refineries, which defines their entire economy. Senator Moreno, let me ask you as it relates to Colombia. You know, here's the thing. And I understand that people make choices, and they make really bad choices sometimes in life. I put the blame on them for making bad choices. However, the pervasive nature and the deadliness of fentanyl and opioids, and all the Americans are dying, those that are profiting off of this, basically to me, and again, I'm not looking for a war with anybody. I'm just saying, don't you dare sell drugs to kill Americans. I think that's a fair statement to any country that wants to be a friend of this country.
You're exactly right. And what we have in Colombia is a president that got elected thanks to the help of drug cartels. We're going to continue to investigate that. In fact, we're going to turbocharge that investigation. In the meantime, we're going to put him and his extended family and enablers on the OFAC list. And we're going to designate additional cartels in Colombia as foreign terrorist organizations. Because what President Trump will not put up with is countries that send us poison to kill our citizens. It's really that simple. The good news, Sean, is that in Colombia, the people support America. America supports the people of Colombia. They just have a moronic leader in charge right now. But there's an election next year, and I think that's going to go very differently. And our relationship with Colombia will be back on track after this guy's gone.
You know what? The time to have impunity and your entire economy or a big part of your economy based on selling products that can predictably, will predictably kill Americans got to come to an end. Glad the president's taking it on. Senator Graham, thank you. Senator